All right, hey guys. So I think last week there was some difficulty that I saw a lot through the Pythagorean Theorem. May not have been for every problem. It may have just been we need some more help with it. That's okay. So we're going to take some more time, go through it a little bit more today, and see how you guys do. Remember, if you have questions, let me know. If I tell you we can jump on Zoom right now, take me up on that, because that can be really helpful for you, because you may just need to hear me say it in a different way to help make a little bit more sense. Okay, as always, the notes are right below this video. Use them, okay? They are exactly what I'm going to go over, but with everything labeled for you and written out. So first things first, let's just kind of go over the Pythagorean Theorem again. Pythagorean Theorem says that we have a right triangle, and for this right triangle, A and B are always the legs of the triangle, sometimes called the sides, okay? C is always the hypotenuse. It's always across from this 90-degree angle, okay? Always, always, always. Doesn't matter if this triangle is all turned around, your hypotenuse is always across from the 90-degree angle. And what it says is, it says that A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, so a couple main things here. When you square something, you do that times itself. I'm going to show you guys a calculator that you can use online that's really helpful. You can use your phone. If you know how to do squares in your head, great. So that's one thing you have to do. Then you have to know to either add the two squared numbers together or subtract one from the hypotenuse, okay? So we're going to look at both scenarios here in just a minute. And the third thing, remember, your last step is you always have to take a square root of your final answer, because I don't want to know what C squared is, I want to know what C is. So to find what that is, you have to work backwards, take that square root, okay? So let's go over some examples real quick. So first one is we're going to look at finding the hypotenuse, okay? I'm going to tell you that A is 10, B is 13, and C is what we're looking for, okay? First thing that you should always do, especially if you're someone who's very visual like I am, draw a picture. Okay, here's a right triangle. That's all we need. We know our hypotenuse is what we're looking for, and our sides will be 10 and 13. Okay, so now we're going to put it into our Pythagorean theorem, and we're going to solve. So we always start with A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A is 10, so 10 squared, plus B is 13, so 13 squared, equals, we don't know what C is, so C squared. 10 squared is 100, plus 13 squared. 13 squared is 169, right? Yep. And C squared, again, it just keeps tagging along. Now, 100 plus 169 is 269. Our final step, this is one of the most important steps, is to take the square root. So C will equal the square root of 269, or if you put it in your calculator, you will get that it's about equal to 16.4. Okay, now let me show you the calculator that I use real quick. Here it is, to find the button. Okay, so if you go to Google and you search in Desmos, D-E-S-M-O-S, this will be the first thing that pops up right here. You want to use, right now, we don't really have a whole lot of need for the graphing calculator, but if you ever need to graph something and you don't have a graphing calculator, there's no need to go out and spend $100 on one. There's a free one right here online, and it's super, super great. But right now, all we need is the scientific calculator. So you're going to click on scientific. And I know you guys all have these on your phones, but if you don't have a phone, or your phone's broken, or you don't like it, you can always use this. Okay, So what we can do is let's walk through solving this problem on our calculator. So say you don't know what 10 squared is, you can type in 10. And this one right here, where it says a squared. Ooh, no, that's too many times. How do I go back? Oh, right here. There we go. 10 squared is 100. I hit it too many times. I got a little too excited. All right. Now we can hit enter. Now we're going to find out what 13 squared is. So if we type in 13, we square it, it's 169. So if we do 169 plus 100, oh, except I wasn't paying attention. There we go. Plus, oops. Let's try this again. 169 plus 100. How did I get? Okay, whatever. It's 269, which is what we got up on our board originally. All right, so now what we want to do is we're going to take the square root. So we're going to use this button right here. We don't want to use the one with the in on it. That means we're taking a different root rather than the square root. You just want this basic square root right here. Okay, basic square roots are our friends. So we click that button and then we type in 269 and it'll tell us our answer right there, but we can also hit enter and make it official to get 16.4. So that is how you do that. All right, let's do another example real quick. Now we're gonna find a missing leg. Okay, so this was about finding a missing hypotenuse. Find a missing leg. So I'm gonna tell you that A is 12. B is what we're looking for, and C is 20. Okay, again, first thing we should always do is draw a picture to help us. You know that A is 12, we're looking for the other side, and our hypotenuse C is 20. Okay, now we're gonna plug it into our Pythagorean theorem. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A is 12, so 12 squared. We don't know what B is, so it just stays as B squared. C is 20, so over here we got 20 squared. Okay, 12 squared is 144. Again, we don't know B squared, just stays there. 20 squared is 400. Okay, when we know the hypotenuse and we're searching for the side, we're gonna have to do subtraction. We wanna get this variable B squared here by itself, so we have to subtract 144 from each side. When we do that, we end up with B squared equals, what is it, 256. Okay, so we're not done yet though. Gotta take that square root, remember? So B here will equal the square root of 256. And if you put that in the calculator, you'll find out that the square root of 256 is exactly 16. Okay, so that's your answer. Okay, again, these are all written out right below here. So check out those notes. Okay, real quick, we're gonna do a word problem. I'm not going to write the entire problem out because that would take me forever and it would take up most of this board. I'm gonna read it to you, but again, it's right below. So, first thing that I do when I'm looking at a word problem, before I even get into it, draw me a triangle. For all word problems, they will always be a right triangle, okay? It's not gonna be some jagged edge where building meets something at a weird angle, and it's never gonna be anything insane. It's always gonna meet at a right angle for you, okay? All right, so this problem says that a ladder is against a wall. So first, let's just think about that. If a ladder is against a wall, this right here is your ladder, this right here is your wall, and this right here is the ground or the floor, depending if you're outside or inside. Ooh, that's hard to see. I'm sorry, guys. This over here is the wall. That's a little bit better, and you can't see the L. There we go. So a ladder is against a wall. There's a ladder against a wall. The bottom of the ladder is 5 feet from the wall. So this is the bottom of the ladder. This is where you're standing, and it's 5 feet from the wall. Okay, the top of the ladder is 12 feet off of the ground. So it's off the ground, so it's up here. This right here is 12 feet. How long is the ladder? So how long is this whole ladder here. So here, we're looking for the hypotenuse of the triangle, which is the length of the ladder. So if we put in our Pythagorean theorem, okay, we're looking for the hypotenuse. So A, it doesn't matter which one of these we call A and B, they're the legs. A and B are always the legs. So we can say we have 12 squared plus 5 squared equals C squared. 12 squared is 144. 5 squared is 25. 144 plus 25 is 169. Now we take the square root, so we'll find that C is equal to the square root of 169. And if you plug that into the calculator, you'll find that it is exactly 13. Now, on this, because it's a word problem, and I give you units, guess what your answer has to include? Has to include these units. So your answer should be 13 feet. You can abbreviate, you can write it out, however you want to do it, all right? I really hope that this helps a little bit more, but if you still have questions, feel free to reach out and let me know, and we can find out a way to help walk you through it, okay? Have a good day, guys.